Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of
Because you don't know football.
Well, today me and Timmy are matching.
What up? How about it? I know it's been a couple of weeks. This is that lazy Monday wardrobe hoodie all day, every day.
Listen, you would think that we called each other and said, "What you wearing?" All right, I'm wearing the same thing, but that's not what happened. This was just ironic.
At some point, Tariq, we're gonna get ourselves some apparel a line, little bit of clothing line, and have to put some "cause you don't know football" on there and rock that.
Ooh, don't flatter me with a good time, man.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, everything's good, man. It's been a crazy week in this NFL.
Yeah, man. I bet you're stoked. Jeff Saturday to the rescue. The Colts. I know we're going to get into it, but
not as much as you would think. But yes, we'll get into that. Yeah, not as much as you would think. Okay, so let's start. So, you want to start? Let's start right there.
No. I thought about this as we come in. I got 3 games I want to talk about. Colts being one of them, probably the game of the year, and Justin Jefferson maybe being the best wide receiver since Randy Moss, absolute stud. But can we start with the Dallas Cowboys and the disappointment so I can move on from this loss last night?
Okay. All right, cool. Yes, that he is correct. The Dallas Cowboys lost in overtime to the Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
I was looking this. I don't know what's this is. This is vintage. This is the Dallas Cowboys that I've lived with for 20 years. This is incredible. This is what I've been waiting for. The shoe has dropped. We are on the other side of it. This team has been known for their defense this entire year, talking about how studly they are. They gave up 29 points to Justin Fields last week in the Chicago Bears, or their last game 2 weeks ago before the bye. And then they come back and give up 31 after a bye to a team, the Green Bay Packers, who put up 9 points in a loss to the Detroit Lions in their last game.
Yeah, it looked like Aaron Rodgers still had a vendetta against Mike McCarthy. He wanted to show him something. Did you see them? Listen, first of all, the Green Bay wide receivers, this was the best game by far that they've played all year. This is what they've been waiting for. So, yeah. I mean, CJ Watson, dude, he 4 receptions, 107 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's Randy Moss. Listen, that is Randy Moss numbers. You should remember this because Randy Moss did something similar. 4 receptions, 3 touchdowns, 100 yards. Like he was just making it look easy.
That kid's a rookie, right? I mean, they've been waiting for him to come on, and you're right. We'll see if he can continue doing that. But he had a studly game, and look, we've talked about this before. Aaron Rodgers is clearly Aaron Rodgers for a reason. He can make throws that many quarterbacks can never make in their entire life. And he did yesterday and diced up that they went up 21-14 going into the fourth quarter. And I was like, all right, we need one more stop. And it literally did not come. In
all fairness, if Green Bay's gonna look like that, then they're gonna, because we always knew Green Bay's defense was legit. We always knew Green Bay had a defense. Listen, Aaron Rodgers, 14 of 20, he only threw 20 passes. 14 of 20, 224 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So he's efficient. I mean, Aaron Jones, 24 carries, 138 yards, a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like AJ Dillon had 65 yards rushing. Like, you know what I mean? Then the big catch at the end by Allen Lazard. I mean, like I really can't say like I do think if this is who Green Bay is, I see why you thought they were going to win the division in the NFC North, but they're not. But
it's clearly not. They're not even going to make the playoffs now. But
it's not over for them yet. Don't count them out yet. We'll have our final playoff predictions. I'm saying the next couple of weeks, I want to see this. Don't count them out yet.
Yeah. Man, I'm looking at these stats again, and like, I don't know. This is my issue with Dak. He doesn't he consistently loses these big games. Now he had 2 picks yesterday, but those picks, if I'm recalling correctly, didn't affect the end of the game. They were still up 28-14, and he had not thrown any additional picks after that. It's not even like they went away from the run game. Tony Pollard had 22 carries. They ended up having 31 carries total for 159 yards on the ground. Like, Like that, they needed to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, and they could not do it in the fourth quarter. And you know what this goes back to? This is Mike McCarthy losing every single, like, this is Mike McCarthy for the last 2 or 3 years with the Cowboys, not getting it done. And the reason why he got ran out of Green Bay years back, like he could just not figure out how to win with probably the best quarterback that we've seen in a long time, Aaron Rodgers. And except they did win one time, but it was like they couldn't figure it out as a team. And here we go again. The Cowboys, I was just listening to someone the other day, said the Cowboys are poised to make a deep playoff run. Not with this shit. They might not even make the playoffs right now. Looking at the beginning of their schedule, and with the Eagles and the Giants,
the playoff standings are showing right now.
Well, they're third in their division. Well, they still have to play the Eagles and the Giants again. And like they don't have an easy schedule coming up. Mm-hmm. They do get your Colts, but who knows? They got to go play Minnesota next week. Are you kidding? Are you at Minnesota? That team can't lose a game if they even tried to. They tried to literally yesterday.
We'll talk about that. So I've got a quick question before we move on. Is Ezekiel Elliott finally officially the number 2 running back there? Because I think he should be. I think there's nothing that shows that he's better than Tony Pollard.
I don't think he'll ever be considered the number 2 running back. But yesterday he was sidelined again with an injury and didn't suit up, which is why Tony Pollard got the bulk, got the carries, right? Because Zeke wasn't actually playing. But they paid Zeke, I don't know his contract, but they paid him too much money to make him the number 2. This is the same conversation we had with Dak earlier. There's no chance he's going to be number 1. But I agree with you. Tony Pollard deserves 15 touches or more a game.
Absolutely.
Even when
if the playoffs did start today, you would be in the playoffs, just to let you know.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Right now, sure, yes, but they're not going to win the division. They're going to probably come in third, as you predicted earlier, because the Giants are just on a freaking roll.
I did predict.
Never expected this. The Eagles might not actually lose a game this regular season, and the Cowboys have a reasonably tough schedule to end. Like I said, they got the Vikings, the Giants, the Eagles, and then you know what? They play the Commanders at the end of the season, which should be an easy win, but these NFC East games are never easy. And the way the Cowboys look, they'll probably lose this season. All right, I'm off that rant. Let's move on to the highlight, which I was pretty wanted to hear your thoughts on this Jeff Saturday big news.
First of all, let me just say this. I don't know. Like, first of all year I think we're going to be great, and we lose, and then we pick a coach who has zero coaching experience. Hold on. Before we go there. So every single coach in the NFL has more experience. There's a quarterback coach. There's a specialties coach. There's probably a whatever coordinator. They've had more coaching experience than Jeff Saturday, and he comes and he wins. Now, my thought going into this was, well, all right, cool. I understand it's a PR move. We're going to lose. We're getting our quarterback this year.
Yeah.
And then we win.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about it. Honestly, I'm conflicted. But listen, we definitely, the one good thing about this is we kicked Josh McDaniels' ass, and that's what you get. Yo, I hate Josh McDaniels. Him and Belichick, they can both go over there to the left. I'm glad if it was somebody who was supposed to catch this L, is Josh McDaniels. You suck as a head coach. Don't you act like you better. Don't you ever act like you better than us?
Josh McDaniels is 2 and a lot of losses, 2-7 this year. So not looking good. No, I agree with you. I mean, the whole Jeff Saturday thing was like, when it happened, I didn't even know how to feel about it, because Jeff Saturday seems like a cool guy. He was clearly a great NFL player, great offensive lineman. And it was just like, okay.
I wasn't mad to see him.
Is Irsay just saying, hey, we're done with the season? That's what it felt like. But I feel like this guy's just got like all the optimism in the world and just rallied this team. I mean, look, Matt Ryan went 21 of 28. First of all, he was benched.
Let's talk about Matt Ryan being 21 of 28. He's a shit. What do you mean? And no interceptions. Like, hold on. Matt Ryan might still be leading the league in interceptions, and he ain't played in 3 games.
That's actually a fair point. Yeah, I mean, he played a good game, and then I mean, look, Jonathan Taylor coming back as healthy, just what a stud. I mean, 22 for
You
147.
see what happens when you get it? Like, all right, so I don't know why Jeff Saturday had a good week or why this happened like this, but he did. He put everything and check in the offensive line. I was just asking in a Colts Facebook group, why is our offensive line? How did it get so bad? Like, I understand two of the guys that started last year was going, but like, this is the highest paid NFL offensive line, and it's like the worst. That never happens. What is going on here? So the offensive line looked good. I mean, we looked like a team that's like, okay.
I think, look, I think I don't say the true test, because next week you play the Eagles in Philadelphia. It's probably going to be a backyard beatdown for the Colts, but you played a 2-7 Las Vegas Raiders team who cannot, they cannot figure out their own ass. They are bad.
I'll say this.
I all thought they were going to be better this year, but go ahead.
I'll say this. If we play like this and our offensive line is that good and Matt Ryan is efficient, I think we can go beat the Eagles.
Please do so. Please. I can really need Philadelphia.
You're just being selfish now. But but like, if this is who we are, like, yes, I do think that we can go beat people, so we'll see.
I mean, what do we got? 6 games left, 7 games left. You got what, 4 wins? So 4 wins and a tie, right? I mean, if you were to somehow pull out some of these games, you have some tough games. You got like I said, you got the Eagles. Pittsburgh actually looked all right last week. He won. Cowboys, Vikings, Chargers, Giants, Texans. You do not have an easy road ahead. There's a lot of tough teams to play there.
So going back to what I thought in the beginning of the season before we started sucking, if we have a good offensive line and Matt Ryan is efficient and not turning the ball over, our defense is really good. So right now against the Chargers, I would take us. I mean, if that's what I can expect. I don't know what to expect now. Now I'm all thrown off. You see what I'm saying? I don't know what to expect.
Right now against the Cowboys, you guys are going to beat us 42-0. So
but we're outside the playoffs right now. And like, we're outside the playoffs. And then, like, if you look at the AFC playoff picture, like all right, the Bills are now the 6th seed. The Patriots are the 7th seed. Like the AFC East has 4 teams in the playoffs right now. They have every team over there in the playoffs. And then you got the Chargers, and then the Bengals are on the outside right now. So I don't know if we make the playoffs. I don't know, but I do know if we played with an offensive line looking like that and Matt Ryan being efficient and not turning the ball over, I feel like, Jonathan Taylor is good enough to go 147 on you. And we can go in that region. Our defense is good. You know what I mean? Our defense is real good. I felt so bad for our defense this year. I'm like, dude, like, this defense is playing great. Like, we're losing 19-16 when our offense should be putting up like at least 28, or 21 at least, So our defense has played great all year, man. So shout out to the Colts defense, man.
All right, let's go to probably the game of like the century.
Hold on, I got a question. Was this game better than that Chiefs-Bills game in the playoffs last year?
I think for stakes, the Chiefs-Bills playoffs game last year was better because of the implications of it. However, recency bias says this one. I was in awe watching this. I don't know what was happening. It was just completely out of control. I mean, no defense decided to play in that.
But that's the thing. They did play defense. It just didn't feel like it because it was such like big plays that was happening. Like, when like Jefferson when Jettis is making catches and Diggs is making his big catches, those were like 3rd and like 15, which means the defense was doing its job. And like, it was like always, I don't know how these big plays were happening, but I can't really say the defenses, either one was bad. Like, they weren't bad. It was just a crazy situation. Yeah, this is one of the greatest games I've ever seen.
4th and 22, that Jefferson catch was
what is going, like, what?
So not one one, I don't know how he gets his hand on that and rips it out of the other guy's hands. Two, that I don't know which defender it was, but why do you not just punch that goddamn ball down? Just knock it away. Like you do not. I mean, that is a relatively selfish play. Just come up, swat that bad boy, call it a day. Game's basically over at that point. But Justin Jefferson pulls that thing.
That's why he couldn't do it, because it's the Jettas.
Oh my God, that's just, this kid is insane. I mean, he went for 193 yards yesterday and a touchdown, like just absolutely insane. But the Vikings are just, this team's incredible right now. I mean, 8-1, and I feel like if you were to look at all of their games, they just constantly are like coming back, winning close games.
Yes.
Coming back, winning. I mean, they've only lost to the Eagles in the beginning of the year, which I think it's a completely different team if you were to play the two of them now.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was just going to say that. Finish what you were saying.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely insane. The whole sequence of plays in the last minute was just insane. With the one, the Vikings missing the extra point to leave them down by 4, needing a touchdown, giving the ball up, needing a touchdown, getting the ball back. Jefferson's catch, them driving, Jefferson thinking he scores a touchdown, them overturning it, them being stopped on 2 plays. Well, one, a penalty. Dalvin Cook drops it, stops on a QB sneak, and then a fumble. Josh Allen had, I think, 4 turnovers himself yesterday, or had 4 turnovers total. I mean, I know he had 2 interceptions in that so 2 interceptions and 1 fumble, and then Singletary had a fumble. So Josh Allen had 3. So I mean, look, Josh Allen's still a stud, got to still be in the MVP race, but a game like that, that's just not, MVPs just don't do that.
So that's the thing though. Like, Josh Allen does everything, and the only other person that you could say, okay, that's another person who does everything, is Diggs. Everybody else is just everybody else. So the thing that here's the thing with the Bills, and I'm about to, this is the first time I'm going to say something bad about them all year. I don't think the Bills want a physical drag out game. Like, if you put that in a game where it's just like, all right, you got to have chess. You got to understand a little check, a little maneuver, a move to make. I don't think that they're comfortable in that game. That doesn't mean they're not physical. That doesn't mean that they're finesse. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is, when it's like a drag out, like, it's not like they're not just clearly they have a matchup, they can just do it to you, and you have to swing everything to stop that. And then it's like, okay, well, this is wide open. Anytime it's like little things, I don't think they really like that game, you know. Yeah. And it's because Josh Allen got to do everything. So if a team like the Vikings comes around and they don't have to swing everything to stop what you're trying to do, they can just do a little thing. I mean, a little switch, and all right, I can kind of neutralize or minimize what it is that you were trying to do. I think the Bills can be beat there.
Well, I mean, look at it. They had 2 pretty rough losses. I mean, yesterday's game against the Vikings, you think, one, they had that in the books and they lose it. That's demoralizing. But they lost all 3 of their
losses, because they lost to the Ravens, they lost to the Dolphins. No, it wasn't the Ravens. Excuse me, it was the Jets.
Jets last week, 20-17. Right? So they lose to the Jets, which with their loss today and the Jets on the bye, they're 3rd in their division as well.
Well, they're tied for second. They're tied for second.
Yeah, but Jets would have the tiebreaker, I think. Will have the tiebreaker for the win.
Well, the Jets are 7-3.
They're 6-3.
7-3. Yeah.
So you got Dolphins are 7-3, Jets are 6-3, Bills are 6-3. The Jets get the tiebreaker over them because of the win. But either way, I mean, still that juggernaut, like they're still odds to win.
You're right. They're in 3rd place. They're in 3rd place.
Like the top odds to win the Super Bowl. And as you just mentioned, they're like the 6th in the conference. Like, they're having a tough go at it. And to your point about, I don't know that the Bills, I mean, they can clearly go blow for blow with big teams, but what are they going to do when they face Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs again? And he's just putting up points. Him and Travis Kelce are just going out of control on him. Like, I to your point, if it's just Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, you shut that down.
A team is going to figure that out. So
2 teams have.
This could be, but however, this could be a very beautiful thing, because They have to figure that out now. Now it's been exposed. You know what I mean? We're talking about it now, not because we saw it once, not because we saw it twice, because we saw it 3 times. Now they have to figure out how to maneuver that. So that could make them more dangerous come playoff time, or
Yeah, I mean, look, they're still the number one offense in the league right now by a small margin, specifically in yards per game. Like they're at 424 and Kansas City's at 423, right? So it's a toss up there, but they're
dominating them on offense.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a ton of offense there, but when you're looking at this, their defense is, still looks like it's still top 10 or so, which isn't, which is good. But you start going against some of these teams that are going to be heavy hitters. I mean, honestly, if they were to play, like if somehow they got to the Super Bowl and played the Eagles, I mean, I hate to give this team credit. The Eagles defense is like third in the league right now. And then on top of that, their offense is fourth. Like they're the most complete team. Like the Bills might just be absolutely shut down, when you see a more complete team. So they have, I was just trying to find their schedule here. I think they have a relatively, I don't want to say easy. It's not easy. I mean, they play the Browns, the Lions, and the Patriots, which they should get wins on. And then they're back to the Jets, have Miami, the Bears, and the Bengals. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 games in there that might give them a scare. But if they figure it out, but that Dolphins game is going to be big, man. If they're going to have to knock off Miami. I think knock off Miami and, not win out, but have a good run going into the rest of the year. So
the AFC is deep this year. Okay, the AFC is deep, and this is the best the AFC East maybe ever has been, because like the enemy, all 4 teams are in the playoffs. Think about that. All 4 teams are in the playoffs right now. If the playoffs started today, all 4 of them. I don't think the AFC East has ever been that. Put Tom Brady and the Patriots into this AFC East, they're coming out with a couple more losses.
That's so wild that you look at the New England Patriots as 5-4, which is like most teams would be happy with that record in the NFC, and they're 4th in their own division. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So
all right, cool. Well, yeah, man. So I mean, like I said, this week was a crazy week. So let's go next week real quick. Let's take 3 games that we're going to talk about next week before we get to our topic. Before we get to the topic.
All right, let me grab it. I know. I mean, looking at it here, I think we talked about your Colts and your Colts playing the Eagles next week. That's I hope to see the Colts pull one off against the Eagles as a selfish. But quickly looking here, I'm going to be eyeing the Cowboys and the Vikings next week. I mean, again,
you got that one has to be seen. One has to be seen.
Selfish reasons. One, as a Cowboys fan, but as a football fan as well, you need to see a few things here. One, if the Vikings come in and stomp the Cowboys, we have problems on both ends. One, the Vikings are, it's the Vikings and the Eagles in the NFC, and the Cowboys are, what we thought they were and what they've been for the last 20 years. Just put together good performances in certain games, but cannot win a big one. But if the Cowboys can regroup, get their lockdown defense back, give up less than 17 points to that Kirk Cousins offense, and somehow shut down Justin Jefferson, which I'm honestly not sure that they can. But if they can game plan, figure out how to shut them down, and pull out like a 24-28 to 17 win, we're back on track.
All right, so in that game, Cowboys Vikings, who are you taking?
Cowboys. I mean, I'm going to take the Cowboys every time. I mean, they could literally be playing the best team to ever play in the NFL, the all 2020 2000 team, and I'm going to take the Cowboys even against it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the Cowboys in that game too. So here's my thing for the Vikings. So I'm putting the Vikings on notice, just like I put everybody on notice. You're gonna have to show me this is who you are, if this is who you're gonna be. The Vikings in history, especially during the Kirk Cousins time, has been a team to play up to everybody, beat a juggernaut, and then not be able to be able to do it again, not replicate it week to week, not be consistent. They're up and down. So until I see it, I'm ready. I'm ready to be wrong about that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. So all right, cool. So
that's what I'm saying. That's why I think this is going to be one of the must-watch games and potentially one of the games of the week, because it's two teams, in deep playoff races. The Vikings are playing now for a conference bye, a playoff bye, right? Because they're hoping the Eagles lose and they can continue to win, and they somehow eclipse them there. But I think this is I don't think they say this is the Cowboys season, but this is like, look, you just lost to the Packers. You haven't been able to stop a soul in 2 weeks, and you need to come into a very red hot Vikings team, and you got to show, the football world that you can play football still, that your defense can play. If they give up another 28 points, even if they win, but if they're giving up 28 to 31 points, it's over. The Cowboys don't have an offense to gunsling with some of these other players or some of these
I don't think they come in with 28. I think we're looking at like, it could be 24, but I think we're looking at like a 2021 point. Like, you could keep in mind Dallas's defense is one of the best defenses. You know what I mean? So you can't just act like, oh, just because we saw what we saw, that the Vikings can just do this to everybody. No. That's not what it is. So, all right, cool. So go back. You talked about the Eagles Colts game. All right, we're gonna watch it. Let's talk about it. Who do you think? Who you got? Eagles Colts.
I got the Eagles. I hate to say it, but we just talked about it. They're the most complete team in football right now. I forget what stat it was, but their cornerbacks are just absolute studs right now. like everything about them have been they're complete. Their coaching is incredible. They're all this we're going to see them tonight, right? I think they play the Commanders. This Jalen Hurts AJ Brown thing is just, this connection is stupid. Like, it's unfair. How good they are together. Took Jalen Hurts to a next level, but been absolute studs. I was trying to find Hurts's stats here, because he's got to be in the MVP race at the moment.
Absolutely, he has to be. There's no way he's not in the MVP race. He's got the only undefeated team in the NFL. I mean, he's the quarterback of that. Yes, he's in the MVP race. While you're looking that up, I'm gonna just tell you. I'm also so I just want to say this about this game. All the pressure's on the Eagles. All the pressure's on the Eagles, and they're coming to Indy. You know what I mean? So, like, they're expected to win. The point spread is going to be in their favor. Everything is going to be good. However, I don't believe in my Colts yet. So, listen, we win this game, I think we probably go to the playoffs. So at that point, we would have beaten Kansas City, and then we beat Philly. Yeah. So I would say, yeah, then I'd be back on the train to say, all right, we're going to playoffs. We're going to talk about this. Right now, I'm not on that train. I'm still on the Jeff Saturday never coached college or pro, not a day in his life, and that's where I'm at. So that's why I'm picking the Eagles.
You can only you can only motivate a team so much, and then they still have to be good. And I understand that they're NFL players, but you can't motivate a team that's 4-6-1 or something like that to go in and beat an undefeated team who's just been stomping people. I don't know if this is out yet. I know typically the spreads don't come out till Tuesday, but just looking here on ESPN, the early spread is 9 points. 9 points for the Eagles favorite. So
okay, so I would take that. I would take the Colts with the points.
Take the Colts with the points.
I don't think we're losing by 10. No, we're not.
We'll have to see what if that adjusts or not. But yeah, it's a big game. Big points.
All right, cool. Well, we got about 10 minutes left. So
yeah, I was gonna be fair. I'm looking at the rest of these games. I don't really see anything that I like here. 2 games just pointing out that I feel like could be interesting to watch. We talked about that AFC East right now. The Jets and the Patriots play in Foxborough. Look, that if the Patriots win, we have such a bunched group of, I mean, all four of those teams still stay in the playoff race. We have such a bunched group in that AFC, it all being about what 6-4 or so, or better. So that'll be an interesting one to see. I mean, the Jets have been playing pretty well, but this is like Bill Belichick's little brother. Like, he doesn't let that happen. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, so we'll see what happens.
That's cute. That's cute what you do.
Yeah, move on. You can do it.
Keep it up. Keep it up, man. Yeah, well, after that, we'll talk about the other two games, because I mean, you could also say the Kansas City Chargers are. I mean, I'm curious about that too. So yeah, we'll talk about the rest of them this next week. So let's get into it, though. I want to hear, Tim. I want to hear from you. I need the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL today. I need it.
Oh man, you got me putting me on one here. Let me find. I was just looking at something here.
While I hydrate, I'm gonna continue to hydrate while I hear this. I need it.
So we're looking at so top 5. I think it's. Oh, I don't know. Let me start with. See, I feel like I want to put so many more in there. And also, let's be fair. Talking about this top 5 is almost talking about who's going to win the MVP race as well. I think there's a handful of quarterbacks. I'm not sure how I rank them yet, but as far as who's been the best this year, I think you got my top 2. And based off of yesterday's performances, I think Patrick Mahomes is number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think Josh Allen for me moves to number 2. And while this is where the stat thing, so Josh Allen's stats are absolutely insane, and not as insane stats, but having just insanely good seasons. Tua and Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably my top 4 right now. I have to say that we have Patrick Mahomes as number 1, but between those 3, they're kind of all cycling for me. I lean towards Josh Allen as number 2, Jalen Hurts right now as number 3, and then Tua. Tua has, I was just looking at this as well. The passing leaders in the league, receiving leaders, Tua has both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are the 2 the top 3 in yards in the league. And the dude's missed time, but between those 4, and then I think my 5th right now, and he's probably fallen off a little bit, but it's still Lamar Jackson. He's still having himself, did they just on a bye this week, right? Or did they play? I feel like I didn't hear about Lamar Jackson. But I would say Lamar Jackson. So they're my top 5. Mahomes, I'll give you an order. Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Tua, and then Lamar Jackson.
Okay. I think that's a good list. I have an issue with Tua being there, and I'm going to be in the minority here. When you have those wide receivers, yeah, your numbers are going to go up, because just like when it was just so easy with Kansas City, because you got to keep people deep. It's a much easier thing to read when the safeties have no choice but to stay deep. Okay, so that's the only reason I'm taking Tua off. But here's my list. I'm gonna start at 1 and go down 2. My list is a little bit different than yours. I got Pat number 1. We had that conversation before about who's better, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I said Pat is, you gotta acknowledge him. So Patrick Mahomes number 1, Josh Allen number 2. I got Joe Burrow number 3. I think overcoming, he's consistently had to overcome the same problem with that offensive line, and he's produced, and I think he's been special. You know what I mean? So I'm going Joe Burrow number 3. I'm going Jalen Hurts number 4. I think the one thing I like about Jalen Hurts, so I think a lot of times is something to be said with a quarterback who can take a little bit and make it so much better.
The dude just knows how to win.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is. But the Eagles are very talented, and I also think there's something to be said when you have a whole lot of talent, making sure like nobody's upset, making sure everything keeps going, because it's very easy to have too much talent, and all of a sudden it's like we can't do everything that we want to do. So managing that, I love what Jalen Hurts has done this year. And finally, I'm going Geno Smith number 5. Listen, Geno said at the beginning of this year, he said they wrote me off. They asked him, Geno, what happened? They wrote you off. He said, well, I didn't write back. And he hasn't wrote back all year, okay? He left everybody on red. And listen, just like I said, this is a team that's not very good, though. Like if we're just talking about just talent, the Seahawks are not a very talented team. And the fact of how they have been and where they are, there's not too many. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Fame or anything like that, but I do like when you say, if you took this person off of this team, would they still be the same team? And no, the Seahawks would be the same team without Geno Smith. So that's my top 5. Pat, Josh, Jalen Hurts, and Geno Smith.
Nah, I like it. I was looking at Geno. I feel like I'm having a little resistance to putting Geno Smith into a top.
I understand. I was resistant too. But they beat teams that you didn't think they could beat, and then they took care of business where they were supposed to take care of business. So I'm like, well, there's nothing else you can expect, with a team that's not overly talented.
No, I feel you. I like it. I mean, time will tell at the end of the year. I feel like the juggernauts are going to run away with this anyway. The Mahomes and Allen, especially the MVP race. Mm-hmm. But we'll see where they end up. But it'll be interesting to see how these quarterbacks continue to move their teams along. We still got just under half the season left, man. It's a long season. Loving it.
So so eventually we will have to talk about MVP race, because that don't mean like Geno's not going to win the MVP. So that'll be a different conversation. We'll have that conversation coming up.
All right, cool, brother. Just under the time again.
Listen, efficiency. First of all, I think this is one of the best episodes that we had.
How about it? Getting back
into only that we were efficient, like Matt Ryan this week.
Matt Ryan efficiency.
That sounds wrong.
No picks, completing like 67%. How about it?
That's what we did. 67, 75%. That's what we did today, Tim. That was us.
Right. Always a pleasure.
Man, come on, man. You know it's my pleasure all the time, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. I'm Tariq.
I'm Tim. Peace.
See y'all next week.
Take it easy.